Hello my YouTube friends! This video is brought to you by today's sponsor, Owned. I'll tell you more about that later. Today I want to show you how to create this cool timed animated overlay menu system for OBS that's similar to the one that you might have seen on Pardon the Interruption. We're going to be using totally free tools as well, so you know what? Let's get to it! Creating the overlay is a pretty simple process, and I'm going to show you how to change the overlay on a timer or manually if you want to with hotkeys. Let's create a quick template overlay in Pixlr that we can animate. So we're going to go into new image and we're going to select 1920 by 1080 and we're just going to call it overlay and create. Now we're going to go over to the left and we're going to select this icon right here, which allows us to create this box. And what we want to do is go up here to the top under style and select outline, and we're going to create a grayish outline. So we'll select the color and make it a few pixels. This is to your taste really. Then we're going to go in here and click this so it turns off the white background. So I'm going to select the back layer and fill it with white so we can see it. Then I'm going to select this arrow over here on the left, choose our box and go down here and click this to duplicate that layer. I'm going to drag it down below. Then I'm going to hold the shift key and drag it down to create a box at the top here. And essentially I'm just going to do this a bunch more times. I'm going to duplicate the layer, drag it down using the shift key, duplicate it again, drag it down using the shift key, and this is just creating a bunch of different boxes on top of one another that gives us the menu overlay structure. So once I'm finished with that, I'm going to scroll down here to find the layer we have in the background that is colored white. I'm just going to click this to turn it off. I'm going to go up to the top left and click File and go to Export. I'm going to pick Quick Export Page as PNG, and it saves it right to our downloads folder. Very cool. Now we have to build our menu system. To do that, we're going to use DaVinci Resolve. It's a really powerful editing software that's totally free. There is a link in the description for you to download it and follow along. That is the best way to learn. So let's jump right in. In DaVinci Resolve, we're going to create a project. So we're just going to select New Project, and we can name this project and click Create. And the first thing we want to do is go up into File, and then we want to go to Project Settings and make sure it's set to our frame rate that we use on our live stream, whether it's 30 or 60, and make sure that it's the actual resolution we use on our stream. Then we're going to go over into Edit. We're going to go to the Media Pool, and we're going to drag in all the assets that we have for our menu. And I have a couple extras because I want to designate some images at the top for each menu. Then we're going to drag our overlay into the timeline, and I'm going to right click on it, and we're going to change the clip duration. And I want my clips to be 2 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and set this up as a 2-minute clip. So that's 2 minutes right there. Now I'm going to go into Effects, and I'm going to change it to Titles, and we're going to drag this Text Plus tool down here. I'm just going to stretch it out so it's the same length as our overlay. Then I'm going to right click over here in the inspector where the title is, and I'm going to select time code, and you can see this puts up some numbers there. Then I'm just going to change this font so it's extra bold, and now you can see that it starts out at 0 and it will count up to the 2 seconds of our clip. So now I'm going to switch over into settings, and I'm going to expand cropping, and I'm going to crop the left and the right so it's just going to have our 2 seconds in there, and then I'm going to crop the right so it crops out the frame numbers, and now we're all set. So now we have basically a count up. Now I'm just going to resize these over here on the left because we're going to need lots of extra space for the assets that we're going to have. And then I'm going to go in settings and use the position to move this into the right area of our overlay. Then I'll go back over here again to the left, and I'm going to select both of these and just drag them up to create a bunch of extra spaces below them. Then we're going to go and switch from titles to generators, and then we're going to drag this solid color down all the way to the bottom here, and we'll drag it out so it's the proper length, and we'll go over here into generator, and we're just going to change the color. In this case, we're going to go with a dark blue, and now we just need to go over into settings, and we're going to crop it up and put the blue color in the proper box behind our countdown. Now we can zoom in using our mouse wheel, and we can hold down the mouse wheel to move around the view so that we can actually get this dialed in really good. Make sure the crop covers all the way to each of the lines in the overlay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on our countdown timer, and I'm going to select new compound clip, and we can name this clip if we want. I'm not gonna. Once it's a compound clip, we can right click on it, and we are going to go to Retime Controls, and that puts this little arrow bar right below our compound clip. We can click the down arrow, and then all we have to do is select reverse segment, and now our count up has become a count down. Now we're gonna go ahead and drag more color in here. And every time you do that, you can right click on the color and change the clip color. Now, obviously they don't have every color in here, but it's gonna make it easier to identify because we're gonna have so many colors. So I have the blue marked as blue and I have the white marked as tan. And you just use the same cropping method to crop these colors up, and we'll keep dragging them in there. The yellow, and there we go. We wanna change the color and crop it up. And we want some red, and we'll use a dark red here, and we want a bright red here. And just make sure that you order these in the way that you want them, so that when you have to modify them to appear, everything's going to appear the way that you want them to appear. Now I'm going to select the top two boxes again, and we're going to create more room by sliding these up and resizing them. And we're going to drag some more text down here, and we'll stretch this out. And I'm going to go over into our title and change our font face so it's extra bold. And we'll just put our title in here. I'm gonna call this one Rundown. And we'll go over into the settings and we'll use the position to move this into the location that we want it. And if we flip back over into the title piece of it, we can change the size. And so we'll make it a little smaller and we're gonna move it into position right over this white box. I'm gonna go back into title and I'm going to go ahead and change the color so it is black and we can see it properly. And then I'm just gonna do some minor final adjustments to make sure that our rundown title is where we want it to be. Now I'm gonna go over into our timeline. I'm gonna hold down the Alt key and drag our rundown down. And this is going to create another instance of it. Then I'll go up here and change the text. And then I'll go into settings and I'll move the position to put it where I want it to be. Then I'm going to change it to white, and you can see that makes it not very visible. So I'm going to scroll down in the title menu and go to drop shadow. And I'm just going to change this offset a little bit, both on the X and the Y, and adjust the blur and opacity settings to add a nice little drop shadow to this to make it really well visible. And that looks awesome. And now all we have to do is use this exact same template to create all of the rest of our text. So we just hold down the Alt key, we drag it down, we change the text, we resize it, and we do that again. We hold the Alt key, we drag it down, we put the text where we want it, we resize it, and we might have to go ahead and create more boxes for ourselves by grabbing some and stretching them up so that we have more space to put our text. But once we do this, we're going to have all of our text in here. Now I'm going to drag in this bacon image here, and I'm going to resize it and place it at the top. And this will represent the first point of discussion for our 2-minute countdown. Once I have that all set up and resized, I'm going to go all the way to the final frame where the rundown and everything is at 0, and I'm going to select everything. Then I'm going to go right click on these and go up to the top and select new fusion clip. It's going to create a fusion clip from this. Then I'm going to go down here into the fusion icon. I'm going to right click in the fusion window. We're going to go to save image. We're going to name this image. In this case, this would be run one end, and we want to save it as a PNG and click save. Now you want to keep in mind I don't actually show it here, but you want to put the timeline all the way to the beginning and create a start image as well. In the same way, right click, create image, just call it start. Then what we're going to do is go back into edit. We're going to go up to edit at the top menu, and we're going to undo, which brings back all of our stuff and removes our fusion clip. Now this is a pain in the butt, but it is the easiest way to actually get a PNG still clip from your stuff, and that's why we're doing it. So the next thing that we have to do is create the actual export video file. So we're going to put the timeline to the beginning. We're going to go down to the right and click deliver. We're going to go up to the top left. We're going to name our file. We're going to set the location where we want our saved file to go. And we're going to go and we're going to drop this down, select QuickTime, uncompressed, BGRA 8-bit. Make sure it is the resolution and the frame rate that we're looking for. In my case, 1920 by 1080 with 30 frames per second. We want to select export alpha and then add to the render queue and go ahead and render this out. So now we have our first menu panel. Now all we have to do to create our second panel is go in here and modify the crops for each of the colors so that it looks like our menu panel moved down. So we're going to adjust the yellow, then we're going to move the bright red down so that we get the darker red underneath it. We're going to make sure the dark red covers everything like it's supposed to. And that's why we kind of zoom in here. Once again, the scroll wheel on the mouse will zoom you in. Pressing down on the scroll wheel and moving the things around on the screen will move it around. And then if you want to zoom out, it's also the mouse wheel. So now that we have our menu set up the way we want, we're going to go down into the timeline and right click on our bacon image, and we're going to cut it. And we're going to add an image that represents the next talking point, and we'll scale it up and put it in the proper location. We're going to go to that final frame. We're going to select everything. We'll right click and create a fusion composition. Right click in the window and select save image. Then we're going to name our second image run to end. PNG. We'll go back into edit, undo our fusion creation. Then we're going to put our playhead at the very beginning, go to deliver, and we're going to render out our second panel. Now we've gone through two of them. Creating the next two are exactly the same. You're going to adjust the crop on all your colors. Then you're going to change whatever icon you want to be at the top. You want to go ahead and create your fusion composition, save out your still image for the final, go back in and undo the fusion page, and then render the panel out. And we're gonna do that for as many panels as you created. And once you're done with this, we're ready to go. We've created everything we need with the countdown timer for our awesome animated countdown overlay. Now, I would definitely add some sort of buzzer or audio at the end of the countdown for each panel. And that's really easy to do. All you do is drag the audio in DaVinci all the way down to the bottom and trim it up however you want so there's a buzzer. Great animated overlays can make a stream look absolutely amazing. And with today's sponsor, you can gain access to hundreds of amazing ones for any type of stream that you want to do. Owned is a website that offers anything a Twitch streamer could possibly want. On own.tv, there are thousands of overlay packs with alerts and stingers built in, as well as emotes and badges, and like I said, just about everything you could want. But what really excites me is the Own Pro site. On Own Pro, you download a plugin for OBS, and in OBS, you can browse and select from thousands of overlay packs that download and are set up completely right out of the gate in OBS. You can add alerts and labels and modify the text and even create custom layouts in just a few minutes. And they all have custom stingers that are set up with the profile, so you don't have to do anything. You just download them and they're ready to go. In just a few minutes, you're gonna have a professional stream that looks like you spent $1 million. The best part is, for just a few bucks a month, and I mean less than that crappy Netflix subscription you never use anyways, you're gonna have access to every single one. So you could change it up on every stream in just a few minutes if you really wanted to. So take a second and check out Own TV and Own Pro. Down below, there are links in the description for each one. If you have the means to support the sponsors that support this channel, it goes a long way towards helping me continue to make content that helps you. So thanks. Now that we have our menu assets, we want to convert them into smaller, more usable files using the Shutter encoder. It's totally free and there is a link in the description below. All we do with the Shutter encoder is drag our files over here. So in this case, run 1 movie, run 2 movie, run 3 movie, and run 4 movie. We drag them over here. We're gonna go to choose function. We're gonna select VP9. Then we're going to go over here into advanced and we're going to select enable the alpha channel and we're going to start the function, and it converts all these files to nice bite-sized packages. Now we want to put a couple of plugins in OBS that are going to make this animate properly and change the menu on the timer. Here's the Move Transition install page. We're going to go and click here and we're going to go and get the Move Transition for Win64. If you're running a different system, you're going to want to get the one for you. Then I go into my downloads where this is loaded up, and I want to just double click on the zip file, and I'm going to take the data in the OBS plugin directory and I'm going to copy it. Now I just need to find my OBS directory, and it's going to be called OBS-Studio. Yours may be in a different location. In fact, yours is probably in C program files. So just find your OBS-Studio folder, select it, and then go ahead and right click and paste the files in there. The next one is the Advanced Scene Switcher, and it's very similar. We're going to click go to downloads. It automatically downloads the package that has has everything in it for all of the different operating systems you might be using. What I'm going to do is right click on that package in my downloads, and I'm going to extract it. And I'm going to go into the extracted folder and select the operating system I'm using, in this case Windows. And then of course I can just copy the folders out and put them in that same OBS Studio folder, or I can run the install. If you run the install, you want to click more info and then run anyway, and then you're just going to click install, and it will install the advanced scene switcher package on your system. Now all that's left is to set this up in OBS. In OBS, we're gonna go ahead and create some nested scenes. So I'm just gonna rename this. This one's gonna be for the camera. So it's gonna be ns-camera, and we want an ns-black right here for a black box we're going to create. And we'll go right in there and we'll use color source to create the black box. And there we go. And we're gonna go into our camera and we're gonna add our camera, make sure it has a microphone, and there we go. So now we have our camera and our black box set up. Now we're just gonna create our scene structure. So we want a rundown 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the only other one is a start. So there we go. We'll move that up to the top. And now we're just going to go ahead and start populating this. We're going to go in, and for our start image, we're going to go ahead and add the start image. And we'll browse, and we just have to find the image that's going to kick it all off. And there we go. Now you can see it looks black, but I'm going to go ahead and add my camera in there and bring it down, and you can see that it's clear. So that's why we created this black box. So I'm going to go and click the plus and add a scene. And we're going to add the black box, and we'll drag it below our menu. And then I'm going to go into our nested black scene, and I'm just going to modify it up so that it lines up properly with our menu using the Alt key, and that's going to crop it for us. And once we do that, we can reuse it in every scene without having to mess around with it. All right, so then we're going to go into rundown 1. The first thing we're going to do is add our media source, and we'll call this media source run 1. Click OK. We just need to go find our run 1 WebM file and open it and click OK. And there we go. So now we have the menu in there, and we're going to add an image, and this is going to be the run 1 end, just in case the video ends before the scene switches. This means that it will look completely flawless and you won't see any stutters or shakes. It will just end the video and then switch over to that. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a scene, my camera, and there we go. I added that incorrectly, by the way, but I fix it later. It should be a scene add, just like I'm adding this black scene right here. And we just have to move those to the appropriate order. And then the next thing to do is just to create the exact same scene structure in rundown 2, rundown 3, and rundown 4, so that they're all populated with the stills and everything else. So there we go. Now we have everything all populated and created for all of the rundowns. They have a video file, the still file, and the black file along with the camera. Then we're going to go over here into transitions, and we're going to start with our fade transition. We want to change it from 300 milliseconds to 1000 milliseconds. And then I'm going to use this drop down and select the move transition. And we can give our move transition a name if we want, and click OK. And then all we need to do is scroll down here, and I'm just going to embiggen this right here, make it easier to see. We want to scroll down to appearing items. We want to unselect zoom, change the position to none, and then we want to go ahead and use the fade transition. And we want to do this both on appearing and disappearing items. And when you click the preview, that's what it should look like. And so we're all set and ready to go. So now when we change scenes, you can see our menu will change scenes and start running for each of the individual panels. And it's nice the way it fades in and out. It looks like it's moving and transitioning from one to the other. So it looks like we have an animated menu, even though we really don't. So we can go into settings here, and we can go to hotkeys, and we can actually assign a hotkey to each scene if we wanted to switch them manually. So maybe we don't want it on a timer. Maybe we want to make sure that any extra discussion happens at the end. We can do it there. Or we can go up to tools, and we can go to the advanced scene switcher. And the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your scene sequence is up here at the top. You can adjust where it is. Just move it up to the top. Then we're going to go over here, and we're going to click the plus, and we're going to create this. So when we go to rundown 1, that means it's going to be on a timer. To switch us to rundown 2, we just need to change this to minutes, put in 2 minutes, or whatever your time is, and then we want to select the actual transition that we're going to use. And of course, now we're going to do this so it does it for all 4 of our scenes. And so basically this is going to kick off the second that we select rundown 1. Each of these is going to go in a series. Now, of course, I should have changed it from seconds to minutes, and I didn't do that. You can also add a few ticks at the end of these, so you might select 201 or 205 or something like that, which will pause it right at the end of the sequence. But once you have this all set up and and ready to go, all you have to do is go back into general, and you can see ours is active, but most people's will start out inactive with this little red flashing light. And you just click start, and that means your scene switcher is active. And then as soon as I switch into rundown 1, it's gonna start that 2-minute countdown, and it will automatically switch over at the end of the 2-minute countdown. And there we go. So you can adjust how many seconds are after your 2-minute countdown to make it fit your style, or of course you can always do it manually. It's pretty damn awesome, and now you can animate this in any way that you want, and even roll the text up or down if you need to make more panels. The only limit is your imagination. If you want to see how you can create a really cool stinger transition using nothing but free software, you should check this video out. Big thanks to today's sponsor, Owned. You can find their links and links to all the other sponsors that support this channel down below in the description under the heading Sponsors. Supporting the sponsors that help keep the lights on here in the studio is a great way to help me continue to make content that helps you. I couldn't possibly do this without them or you, so thanks. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks that can help make you a better live streamer or YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Feyrer Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.